Propane. We were in Canada way back when and had real trouble finding a propane fill station. We boondock. This is about the only time to go to a campground down here. So I found at an industrial supply place, this is a side that goes onto your propane tank, and this is a side that fills propane cylinders. So any place that can fill cylinders, which are all the hardware stores and places like that, if you get in a bind, you can actually have them fill it if they will. Some of them, from a liability standpoint, won't do it. But these things, I got this at an industrial gas supply place about 5 miles from where I live. They're available. Just explain to them what you need. You need to go from the standard fill connection to, it's actually a tapered, almost a ball joint in here, which is what they use to fill small cylinders with.
Probably get it at a propane company that does installations and stuff. I'm sure they would have.
So it's just something, it's one thing that I keep with me. Haven't had to use it since Canada, but at some point, if we run out of propane and we're in the middle of the boonies, I can get it actually filled any place that fills cylinders.
I need a new
She needs
key.
another key.
Ignition key.
Ignition key.
I have one, and I just pray I never lose
If
it.
you can catch it in between.
I tried to email him and he ignored me.
I have two lined up.
Do you?
Yeah.
Already here?
I did make 2 keys yesterday.
Did you really?
I have 2 more lined up.
I have tried everything. I've gone to so many dealers.
Volkswagen
Everybody said, go to the dealer. The dealers never help me.
Volkswagen decided they were obsolete.
Yes,
There was
yeah.
a fella in Pennsylvania, and he had lost everything except his little valet key. That's the
Yeah.
only one he had left. And he finally decided to bite the bullet. He went to the dealer, he gave him $800 and said, order me 2 flip keys and 2 valet keys. They called him a couple days later and said, come get your money, those are obsolete. So he posted on the group, and I said, don't panic yet, because I had thought about it before, I just hadn't pursued it. So I got busy and I figured out what I needed. As far as I know, I'm the only person in the country that does it, but
Yeah, I believe you are, because I have
figured out
exhausted it.
how to make keys and make them work. There's some programming, I had to buy some equipment and do some testing.
That's the thing, everybody tells me they don't have the program to do it.
His equipment, the VW equipment have got to talk to each other.
Volkswagen dealers are supposed to have the software to program,
Oh,
but a lot of them don't realize that on the Eurovan, it's the only Volkswagen in existence that doesn't have the immobilizer and the instrument cluster. It's a totally different address. And they try to do it with the instrument cluster and it doesn't work, and they just kind of give up. There was a lady in Wyoming, had to drive 90 miles to get to the dealer, and they were going to do the programming, and they said, we can't make it work, tough. And so she went home, she emailed me, and I said, they're probably using the wrong address. So the next time she was up there, didn't make a special point this time, but she went in and talked to them and said, you know, that I had told them, use address 25 instead of 17, and it'll work fine. And 5 minutes later, they came out and said, well, it worked, but it had nothing to do with the address.
so what do I have to do now?
More than likely.
Get in line. First of all, to do those keys, I have to be at the rig.
Okay. So
And you have to have all the keys that you have that you want to work. So if you have 2 keys and you only bring 1, when I get done, the other one ain't gonna work anymore.
I only have one.
But anyway, so it's a bit complicated.
So where are you at, so I know where?
A11.
Question over here.
I have a question about the hot water heater. I did a remodel and I put in the high and low switch.
And your rig is?
My rig is an 02 QD with about 80,000 miles.
2 key.
It worked for a little bit and then it didn't. And there's a jumper that goes between the high and low switch. There was a tech that worked on it and it was crispy. So I took that out, I put in new switches, I redid it. My hot water heater quit working and that switch was toasty on one side. Somebody, an electrician, a friend of mine looked at it and he said, well, maybe it wasn't on there tight. But is there, I'm thinking, well, maybe. there's something that's connected wrong, or, I mean, it's just one leg of it that comes down through those two switches and goes to your element.
The heater element does pull, it pulls about 10 amps.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
yeah.
current. So unless you got a good connection, they can get toasty and melt the covering and stuff like that. I've seen them do that.
What happens is the heat degrades the clamp that's on the spade connector. It tends to loosen and it makes it worse.
So I just replaced all that, tightened everything down. I'm probably gonna replace the switches. Would it burn out that? I mean, the switch is just a high
Switch should
low,
be fine,
right?
it just,
What about the auto reset?
did you put in the automatic reset for the
Yes.
overtemp? Okay, so they're just on-off switches is all they are.
Right,
When
it
they reach a
shouldn't
certain
matter
temperature,
where,
it
it shouldn't
opens up.
matter
When it
which-
cools off, it closes.
Yeah, it's not working now. I'll have to go, I'll troubleshoot more.
Check breaker.
I have, I also put a timer on it. Maybe I need to check the timer. Maybe there's some fuse built to the timer. I don't know.
As I remember, and Charles and Dwayne can double check me on this, the heating element, I think, is pretty much a standard heating element from Home Depot.
I've ordered two from
Okay.
Amazon, sent it back,
Yeah.
but mine measured, I had a tech tell me it was bad, he said it shorted. And then I measured it and it was like.
They call
11
short- they call
ohms, and I'm
everything
like,
a short
11
when it
ohms is
doesn't
what
short.
it should be.
No, it's
It's
short.
not called short, so it's, I think the heating.
If it's not
element-
working, it's an open.
Right, it's open.
Yeah, that's, it's supposed to be kind of short, right? That's what heats it up.
Does the sacrificial anode have anything to do with that, maybe?
It doesn't have one.
These
Oh.
don't-
Yeah.
no,
It's small enough and the tank is coated internally, so there is no anode.
I've talked to some folks that have left their water in it and they freeze crack it and they're pretty much not available.
There you
But
go.
most good aluminum welding shops, if they're creditable at all, can replace and repair, not replace, repair a crack if it's not just huge.
And there's a 220 model available that maybe you could seal the tank from, because I thought mine was cracked, but it was not. It was just that.
There's actually a 110 volt model available.
At the 4 gallon?
6.
There is a 4 available in some places, but that 6 will fit in there.
It's a tight fit. I've got one in mind if you want to see the 6 installed.
Is it QD?
It is a ton of work, but it fits.
Yeah, I like my 4.
You have to rearrange stuff because where they put it is not,
It's
if you
tight.
try to put the other one in there, it's too close to the seat. You gotta move it over a little bit.
Right. Now, mine's in there with the pecs that can't be removed. I don't want to take it out.
Got to dream big, or don't dream at all.